I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is politics reporter Sara Dorn. Sara, per usual, thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, Brittany. Thanks as always for having me.
The Justice Department discovered additional classified documents at President Joe Biden's Delaware home on Friday. This is the latest development in the document scandal that's surrounding the current president. What else can you tell us? Can you give us a highlight reel of how this all started to where we are now?
So the timeline is getting a bit complicated as this is all, coming out in drips. But the White House announced Saturday that FBI agents during a 13-hour search on Friday found six additional items with classified markings at the president's home in Wilmington, Delaware. These documents date back to his tenure in the Senate and his time as vice president. So this all began in January when CBS reported that classified documents had been discovered in the president's former office at the Penn Biden Center, which is a think tank in Washington. There were a small number of documents that was according to CBS. It turns out the figure is around 10 that were discovered at the office, again, from the president's time as vice president during the Obama administration. Several days later, the White House revealed that additional documents, a total of 6, were found in the president's garage and personal library at his Delaware home. And this is what prompted the FBI search that produced the additional documents that we found out about on Saturday.
So why was this held from the public for so long? The documents were originally found in November, which was right near the midterms.
So the timing is certainly skeptical, and the White House is, faced transparency questions, as you said, regarding this slow burn of information that has come out, but also in its response to reporters in the days since this has been revealed. The White House press secretary has referred many questions to the DOJ, including why the administration did not reveal this information sooner. So it's definitely, from an image standpoint, really hurts the president's claims that he is cooperating with the DOJ investigation. And they did admit the day of the CBS report that came out earlier this month that initially reported on the documents that it was correct. But again, we did not know about the documents found in the president's home until days later.
What you just said was a good point from an image standpoint. From a PR perspective, is it a good idea for this information to be dripping out like this over the course of weeks, opposed to just getting it out there all at once?
So definitely not, but I think that there is a chance that the administration did not know that it was going to find additional documents at the president's home. They said that these documents were discovered in the days after the initial revelations about the documents at the Penn Biden Center. And then the FBI uncovered another, tranche of documents in its search on Friday. So there is reason to believe that they were unaware that there were additional classified documents at the president's home when they revealed that the documents were found at the Penn Biden Center.
Sara, I was really glad that we were able to talk today specifically because news recently broke about documents found at former Vice President Mike Pence's home in Indiana. So it seems like the question here is, who doesn't have classified documents at this point?
Yeah, we've seen a number of legal experts say that, routinely classified documents, and this is just common sense, can be mixed in with other documents that are not classified. And we've heard lawmakers say in the coming days that everyone is going to be, searching their files to make sure that they don't have any classified documents as well. So I think that this is going to become a larger issue of how classified documents are handled. And, there's potential that Congress could call for tighter protections and protocols around the handling of classified documents in the wake of this. This is very early information about the classified documents that were found in Mike Pence's possession. So it'll be interesting to see, how many documents were uncovered, what the contents of those were. There's a lot to be, just yet to be disclosed thus far.
So I do want to break down the responses from both the GOP as well as Democrats. First, let's start with Democrats. Senator Joe Manchin said on Meet the Press this weekend that President Biden should admit that it was irresponsible, but said he does not believe the president intended for the documents to be mishandled. Is this a break from how Democrats have been responding, or have Democrats been harsh on President Biden?
Democrats, some have certainly encouraged the investigation into Biden's handling of the documents. While I would say that Manchin has, given the strongest criticism and using the terms extremely irresponsible and disturbing. Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia has also said he supports the Justice Department's investigation, while Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois has also called Biden's handling of documents unacceptable. I think that it would be bad politics if they completely dismissed any investigation into Biden's handling of the documents, just given that there are several ongoing probes of Trump's handling. And, they don't want to be subjected to farther claims of hypocrisy by the GOP, which has, been a word that we have been hearing a lot in comparing the two presidents' handlings of classified documents from Republicans.
Before we get to the Trump element of it all, I do want to talk about the GOP's response. This sounds like this is a gift given to the GOP and Trump on a silver platter here.
Absolutely. I mean, the Republicans, having just taken control of the House and its committees, have launched a series of investigations into the Biden document discovery through the House Oversight Committee, chaired by James Comer, and the Judiciary Committee, chaired by Jim Jordan. Comer has made a series of requests for visitor logs to the University of Pennsylvania, to the Secret Service regarding Biden's Delaware home. And, notably, Comer has speculated in these requests whether foreign individuals with connections to the Biden family may have had access to these documents. And that really plays into Republicans' talking points regarding Hunter Biden. We all remember the New York Post story from 2020 that suggested Biden may have had contact with Hunter's Ukrainian business partners. It's important to note that this is an unfounded claim, and Biden has firmly denied it. But this is definitely a gift to Republicans, and it contests, and some legal experts would say harms the investigation into Trump as well.
Why would it harm that investigation?
It just gives a clear contradiction that this, as I said previously, that this is something that can happen. And as we saw with the revelations about Mike Pence having classified documents in his possession as well, that it's, I don't want to say commonplace. I mean, that's not correct, but this isn't unprecedented. So
I do want to talk now about the Trump factor. According to a new ABC Ipsos poll, 64% of Americans believe Biden acted inappropriately in his handling of classified documents, compared to the 77% who said they feel that way about Trump. Can you give us the differences here between how Biden mishandled documents opposed to Trump?
So the number of documents, first of all, we have about 24 or so that have been found in Biden's possession, and the Justice Department search at Mar-a-Lago found 103 classified documents, 18 labeled top secret. In terms of contents, the Washington Post has reported that the Trump documents contained information about Iran's nuclear program and intelligence gathering operations in China. We know so far, we don't have a lot of details about what the Biden documents contained, but we know that they contained information reportedly about briefings on Ukraine, Iran, and the United Kingdom. And then also, most notably perhaps, is the president's reactions to these various DOJ probes. the Justice Department claimed that Trump violated a subpoena for classified documents, and they had to obtain a warrant to search Mar-a-Lago. In contrast, the Justice Department said that it voluntarily searched Biden's home. And what's more is, after the initial tranche of documents were found at the Penn Biden Center in November, Biden's team said they immediately contacted the National Archives, and the National Archives took possession of the documents the following day. So there are definitely some clear differences. But again, without knowing what exactly was in the documents in Biden's possession, it's hard to say what the ramifications will be ultimately.
Sara, as you're saying, this news is really coming out in drips, which makes it almost seem worse. We're finding out a few documents found here at one residence. The next few days, the FBI is finding some other documents. Does this have the potential to impact Biden's potential 2024 re-election bid?
Oh, I mean, we will definitely see this used in Republican campaign ads if he does end up running, and former President Donald Trump is already, raising many comparisons by claiming that he had the authority to declassify documents as president while Biden did not. And this is sort of a fraught narrative, and I can explain why, but this is the kind of thing that has the potential to, be picked up and shared on social media without a lot of context being attached to it. And we've already seen Republican allies of Donald Trump, echoing this claim. So, but I do want to explain, the difference there between this classification authority. And again, Trump is claiming that as president, he had the authority to declassify documents. That is true, but he had to declassify the documents during his time in office. We don't know if he did that with the documents that were found at Mar-a-Lago. And what's more is, as vice president, Biden also had some authority to declassify documents. It's not as cut and dry as it sounds. The documents that he had the authority to declassify, and this is per an Obama executive order, had to be documents that Biden actually classified when he was vice president. Well, we know that some of the documents the FBI found last week were from his time as a senator, so those would not, fall under that protection.
You said Trump said that he did declassify them. We don't know if that's true yet, but can you retroactively declassify a document?
No, he had to declassify the documents when he was in office. I mean, former presidents can't declassify documents. That would, defy the protocols surrounding the handling of classified documents. So that's something that we don't know, and it's a claim that he has made, but it's one that his lawyers have shied away from, making in court, which I think is an interesting point.
This conversation reminds me a lot of that meme of, there's two Spider-Mans, you're both pointing at each other. They're both guilty here, allegedly, of mishandling documents. So who politically benefits from investigations like this?
I mean, I think that Republicans will absolutely benefit here. I mean, as I said, I think that this will be a major talking point in campaigns. It just gives Republicans another avenue to investigate the Biden administration, more rhetoric. It gives Trump, a defense of sorts and his handling of documents. But ultimately, once the information comes out, that's yet to be seen who comes out. Like, they're in direct competition now, you could say. And when this competition of sorts is over, there may be a clear winner, but whether the American people are willing to pay that close attention to, what exactly was in these documents, how each president handled them and responded to the DOJ probes, that's something that can be lost like on the average voter. And I would say in a campaign environment, this really gives Republicans a leg up and a lot of content to bash Biden.
Yeah, especially in a 30-second spot when you don't have enough time to provide context. It sounds like, they're on the same playing field here. But as updates about the documents come in, I hope you come back to fill us in. Sara Dorn, thank you so much.
Thank you, Brittany.